got your comfy chair?
Yes.
Good. How are you today?
Good.
Great. Me too. All right. I will share our iPad screen. We will find out what happens with those cheesy footprints.
No, we are on page what?
Let's see. It looks like we are on slide 36 because I see our star. Remember, Lady Wonder Whiskers has showed up and poor Geronimo got distracted again. So I'm going to go ahead and delete our star. And I'm going to start right here where it says that I, Geronimo, was interrupted by a very loud splash. You see that word?
Yes.
Interrupted by a very loud splash. Right? Okay, and then Lady Wonder Whiskers, she says, "It's the invisible thief," exclaimed Lady Wonder Whiskers, pointing at the rooftop swimming pool. Ooh, this hotel has a swimming pool on the roof. Have you ever been to a hotel that has a swimming pool on the roof?
No.
Yeah, me either. But boy,
Yes.
you
Yes.
have.
Yes.
Here in Taiwan?
Yes.
Was it fun? Did you go swimming?
Yes.
Good.
Good.
A minute later, we saw a trail of puddles. Seems to me that the invisible thief got his feet wet. What is he doing? I asked, confused. That means that I, Geronimo, am confused. Do you know what the word confused means? Do you know that word confused?
Yes.
Yeah. It means that I don't really know for sure. I don't really know if I should say yes or no. I'm not quite sure. I don't really understand what's going on. That's confused. And then Lady Wonder Whiskers says, "It looks like he's heading for the fire escape ladder." Do you know what a fire escape is?
No.
Have you ever seen a building where if there is a fire alarm, so maybe there's a fire in the building and the alarm is going off, you need to have a way that you can get out of the building that's not the elevator. And some buildings have stairs on the inside, like my building, and other buildings have stairs on the outside. And they look very dangerous, actually. You have to be very careful. But you would only use those stairs if there's a fire and they don't want you to go on the elevator. So you would take the stairs on the outside of the building. That is called fire escape ladder. And you would only use it if there is a fire and they want you to get out of the building so that you're not breathing in any of the smoke from the fire. Have you ever seen a building that has a fire escape ladder on the outside?
Yes.
Well, that's what they have at this grand hotel. And they think, following the wet footprints, that the invisible thief is heading for the fire escape ladder. Explained Lady Whiskers. And then she said, "Please do something, Super Stilton." And of course, what does he say when he's surprised? His 3 words with alliteration: super Swiss slices. We've heard this one once before in the book. Okay, one thing I want to ask you before I turn the page is here where it says heading for. I see the word head in there, but it doesn't have to do with a head or a foot or a hand or any other part of the body. Heading for means we are moving in that direction. We are going someplace. And the word that comes next tells us what direction are we going in? Where are we moving toward? So they're moving toward the fire escape ladder. Oh my goodness gracious, look at the picture on this page. And I see, oh boy, do you see this right here? The oopsie daisy doozy doozy. Oh my goodness. What is happening to Geronimo on this page? And he's saying, help.
But he can fly.
Yeah, maybe he shouldn't be worried. Maybe he forgot he can fly. It looks
because he fell down in the
I'm looking right here. It looks to me like his cape might be caught on something. And if his cape is caught on something, then maybe he can't fly.
He fell down and the invisible thieves will help him.
Oh.
The invisible thieves will catch him.
Well, let's see if you're right. So we start here with, I could not disappoint the super rodent of my heart. Who is that super rodent? Remember, rodent in this story is a mouse. So what mouse character in this story is the girl of his dreams? Well, actually, he has two so far, right? Priscilla was one, and then Wonder Whiskers.
Wonder Whisker.
Right? She's the other one. And he doesn't want to disappoint her. Do you know what the word disappoint means?
I don't know.
Disappoint is when, if someone feels disappointed, it means that they're a little bit sad that things did not work out the way they wanted them to. If we disappoint someone else, that means we do something that makes someone else feel a little bit sad that we didn't do what they wanted, or what just happened isn't really what they wanted to see. So sometimes we don't want to disappoint people in our family, right? Like, I don't want my dad to be disappointed in me. So I worry that if I do something or make a decision or say something that isn't what he wants, it's different from what he wants, I worry that maybe he would be disappointed in me. Or when I was a kid, if I got a bad grade on a test, I was worried that he would be disappointed in me, or that I would disappoint him because I didn't do well enough. So disappoint is when we do something that we're worried that someone else, we care about what someone else thinks about us. If we don't care what anyone thinks about us, then we can never disappoint anyone. We can only disappoint someone if we really care what they think. And if we're worried that they're not going to like what we did because it's not what they want to see, then we disappoint them. So he doesn't want to disappoint Wonder Whiskers. Wonder Whiskers is like, please do something, save the day. And he's like, okay. I really don't want her to be disappointed in me, so I really want to do a great job. So we go on to the next sentence. So even though my whiskers trembled with fear, because remember, didn't I mention I'm terrified of heights? That means he's really scared to be up high above the ground. I took a deep breath, crossed my whiskers for luck, and exclaimed, leave it to me, Lady Wonder Whiskers. We need our purple highlighter here because there's a math phrase, and it is crossed my whiskers for luck. Do you know what we really say in English? We don't say crossed my whiskers. Do you know what we say? We say cross my fingers. Cross my fingers for luck. So if we're really hoping that something that will be lucky, we'll go, oh, I hope, I hope, I hope, and we cross our fingers. So we're going to, or I'm going to get my purple pen and write fingers right here.
Why did he said whiskers?
Well, because remember the author here likes to find ways to add things about mice, right? So the author takes expressions that we use in English a lot and then changes one word to have something to do with a mouse. And then she's kind of testing us to see if we're smart enough to figure it out and to say, ha, I know what you did. You changed that word. Can't fool me. Ha, ha, ha. But it's a little bit hard to find those if we are learning English. Okay, then I jumped with an amazing leap, like choo, toward the fire escape and whoops. Uh-oh, it didn't quite work according to plan here. I tripped and tumbled off the edge of the roof. Ah, I'm glad that we don't have to stop here today because I really want to keep going and find out what happens to him. Luckily, my cape got caught on the metal railing. I was swinging in the air like a super klutz. A klutz is someone who trips a lot and has a hard time staying on their feet. They just kind of fall over a lot, bump into things easily. All right, well, we have some vocabulary words. We're going to look here. We've got tripped and tumbled and luckily. And anything else you want in this paragraph? So let's look at these three. When we trip, that means we might be walking or running and all of a sudden our foot hits something and it trips over it and we fall down. Tumble is to go like a bunch of somersaults, tumble, 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 tumble. It's kind of what we do when we're falling down. Luckily means, okay, something good happened. I was lucky for a moment. And so he thinks it's lucky actually that his cape got caught right here. And he says, help! Oh, I am not cut out to be a hero mouse. Here we're going to use orange to highlight cut out to be. Usually when we see the word cut, we think of scissors, right? Snip, 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 snip. But when we put it together in that phrase, cut out to be, it means, am I good at it or am I not good at it? Is it easy for me or is it not easy for me? Do I think I can do it or do I not think I can do it? When someone says they are not cut out to be something, they think, you know what? I'm not very good at this. I'm not going to be very good at this. No matter how much I practice or try or want to, this is not a good thing for me to do. I'm just not cut out to be ... So poor Geronimo is thinking, I am not a good hero mouse. I am not a good superhero. So let's turn the page and see if he gets saved and rescued. And you're right. It does look in the picture like the invisible thief comes to his rescue, right? He says, I got you, no problem. This one is called You Saved My Fur. That's the name of this chapter. Dangling high in the air from the roof of the Grand Hotel, headlines flashed before my eyes. Now, I want you to remember that Geronimo, what does he do for a job? He publishes a newspaper, right? And so that means he's always thinking about what are the headlines going to be. Have you ever seen your mom or dad get a newspaper from like 7-Eleven?
Yes.
Do you know on the very front page, when you buy the paper and you hand it in and you pay the money and you look at it, on the very front page, there's some letters right on the top of the page that are very big. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Those are the headlines. And those are the very first words that a person is going to see when they buy the paper. In fact, many people buy a newspaper because they see the headlines first, and they look at the headlines and they think, oh, I want to buy the newspaper and read about that, right? So if the headlines don't look very interesting, they might think, oh, no news today, I don't want to buy the newspaper. But if the headlines are very interesting, then they think, oh, I want to read it, I want to buy it, and I want to read it. So he's always thinking he wants to sell a lot of newspapers. So he wants his headlines to be exciting. So he's always thinking about what are the headlines going to be on the next newspaper. Well, right now, as he's dangling, which means hanging, off the edge of the roof of the Grand Hotel, he's thinking to himself. And remember, if we're going to do thinking, not saying it out loud, but thinking in our head, we can use the letters that are italics, which are wiggly, right, leaning over. So here's what he's thinking the headlines could be on his newspaper for tomorrow. He's thinking, super rodent meets super end, super splat, super fall for super fool. Now, we have to remember that this author is writing about superheroes in this edition of Geronimo Stilton. So she likes to put the word super in front of everything. But if we forget the word super for a minute, because that can make it a little bit hard to understand, because look at how many times she has super in here. She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, right? So if we don't highlight, let's highlight all the words that are not super.
Rodent meets end. Fall for roof.
For fool. Okay, rodent would be the mouse, right? So mouse meets end. That means he dies. Ah, splat, right? When you hit the ground, we say splat. Fall for fool. Sometimes headlines are a little bit hard to understand, but I think he's saying that he thinks he's going to die and that the headlines tomorrow are going to say he fell off the roof, but using kind of different words. But then he hears Lady Wonderwhiskers say, hang on, Super Stilton. I heard Lady Wonderwhiskers call. A second later, 2 strong paws grabbed me from behind and pulled me up to safety. Thank you, Lady Wonderwhiskers, I exclaimed, still trembling with fear. It's like, oh, you saved my fur. But when I turned, I realized no one was there. Lady Wonderwhiskers was still on the other side of the roof. So who could it be?
The invisible thief.
Yeah. So Geronimo says, wait, who saved me? I gasped. Ah, me, responded the invisible thief. When you ask a question, the person who answers it is responding to you. So if we use the word responded, it means someone is answering a question. You see, I'm really not a bad mouse. But why are you stealing diamonds? Right? Because that's a bad thing to do. I demanded. When you demand something, you want an answer. You're not saying, well, you can answer me if you want to. You're saying, answer me. Okay, I mean business. And then the invisible thief says, I told you, I'm not stealing them. The strange thief replied. Replied is another word for responded. Replied and responded mean the same thing. It's when someone is answering you back. You say something to them and they answer you back. I'm borrowing them. I need them to help me fix something. Then I'll return them. Rodent's honor. Now, rodent's honor is, we're going to make that purple. And this comes from an expression in English. You're not going to believe it, but it's called Scout's honor. You ever heard that? Have you ever heard of a Boy Scout? Have you ever heard of a Boy Scouts Club? Well, in America, I'm going to show you a quick picture of Boy Scouts. So in America, boys your age can go to a club after school several times a week, and it's called the Boy Scouts. And in the Boy Scouts, they learn how to go camping, they learn how to go canoeing or sailing, how to tie knots, how to make a campfire, how to cook over a campfire. They learn all sorts of, how to go hiking in the woods, climbing. You would love it. It's called the Boy Scouts of America. So let me show you some pictures. So you can see here some pictures of Boy Scouts. And one of the things they do is they earn badges. So you can see here the badges that this boy has earned. So each one is for something different. Okay, so one of those, he might, like this one here, do you see the picture of the person swimming? Maybe he had to do some swimming. Maybe he had to, maybe they said, if you can swim 100 yards, or if you can tread water for 10 minutes, they give him something he has to do. And if you can do that, then you earn that badge. This one looks like I'm not sure, is that a butterfly? Or this one might be sailing. If you learn how to sail, you can get that badge. Each one.
Butterfly is you can catch butterfly.
Yeah, maybe.
Catch bug.
And so these are for different things. And so you can see here pictures of these, and they do it all the way up through high school. This one looks like it's not going to. So anyway, when they make a promise, and when they make a promise, they say I don't know how they do it, but it's called Scout's Honor. And if you say Scout's Honor, you mean I really, really promise I will not break my promise. Okay, so when you say Scout's Honor, or I don't know how they do it, it means they are not going to break their promise. It's like the biggest promise you can possibly make, and you will definitely not break it. So people know that, and we will say, even someone who's not a Boy Scout, right? Even someone like me, if I say Scout's Honor, then that means I really promise I'm definitely not going to break my word. Okay, I will do what I say. So they know that, the author knows that, and so she changed Scouts to rodents. It says Rodents Honor. Now, that's what the thief is saying. He says, I'm really just borrowing the diamonds. Borrowing means I'm not going to keep them. I'm going to give them back. I just want to use them for a little bit. They're going to help me out, and then I'm going to give them back. So if you're borrowing something, you are not going to keep it. If you're stealing, then you're going to keep it and not give it back. It does not belong to you. You do not have permission. You take it. You don't ask first, and you keep it. So that's bad. Borrowing, usually if you're borrowing something, you ask first. You say, may I borrow this? For example, you borrow magic school bus books from me, right? And I say, yes, you may use this magic school bus.
Oh, I forgot to give it back to you.
Oh, okay. So, because you're borrowing it. So someday you will give it back to me, right? Let's see. So we've also talked, before we turn the page, we've talked about demanded. That means you must. It's not a choice. Responded and replied. And gasped. Gasped is like this. Okay, so Geronimo gets saved by the invisible thief. Let's turn the page. Oh my goodness, this looks like a mess. Let's just look at the picture for a minute. Whoa, that's down on the first floor in the ballroom where they had the cheese fondue mess, right? Oh my goodness, that does not look easy to clean up. Would you want to clean that up?
No.
No, me either. That just looks, boy. And the cleaners, they don't really look that happy. Okay, all right, so I was still deciding what to do when suddenly I heard paw steps racing down the fire escape. Now here come those 3 words that have to do with cheese that mean absolutely nothing. They're just silly words. Super sour cheddar chunks. The thief had escaped again. What do you think we should do, Lady Wonder Whiskers? I squeaked, turning to face her. Crusty cat litter. Now she had disappeared too. He's so funny. The only thing I could do was return to the floor below. But in the ballroom, the situation was out of control. Duchess Marilyn Mousecovia was sitting on a bench wailing. That means she's crying. She's talking while she's crying. I don't think I could wail very well, but she's saying, my
diamond, my diamond.
I think we did a pretty good wailing. Where have you been, Super Stilton? I can't solve this case by myself, Swiftpaws yelled when he spotted me. We've got to find that diamond super fast. Before I could explain about the roof and the thief and the dangling in midair, Proton and Electron arrived, those 2 kids. Now, before we turn the page, let's just go back because we read this over kind of quickly. All righty. Do you know what it means to decide? Deciding is to decide something, which is make a decision, right? Do I want this or do I want this, right? You have to decide A or B. Let's see, what else do we have? Do you know escape?
Yes.
Okay, escape is it's like to avoid getting trapped. You know, someone might think that you can't get away, but then you do get away. You escape. Let's see. And do you know disappear? That's just, poof, you're gone. If you disappear, you're just, now you can see it, now you can't. It disappeared. Let's see. Usually when we say somebody disappears, we don't mean that they poof, just vanish, just they're gone. It means that they left so quickly that we didn't really notice they left and we looked up and they're gone. We say, huh, they disappeared, but we just didn't really notice that they left. Here it says the situation was out of, whoopsie daisy doozy doozy, out of control. When something is out of control, when a situation is out of control, it means that it's chaos. We talked about that word yesterday. It's just crazy. We can't, there's nothing we can do to make it less crazy. There's nothing we can do to fix it. There's nothing we can do to make it organized and calm and orderly. It's just all like, everything is so chaotic and crazy that it's just out of control. And we talked about wailing. All righty, and up here, Swiftpaws, he doesn't know that Geronimo went up to the roof. He doesn't know about the cheesy footprints or the milkshake, the cheese milkshake power that Geronimo used, or Lady Wonder Whiskers, or falling off the roof, or being rescued by the thief. Swiftpaws doesn't know any of that. He's just like, where have you been? I can't solve this case by myself, you know? I mean, come on. He kind of thinks Geronimo's just been wasting time, hiding, not helping at all. And Geronimo didn't have time to explain. And here's that word dangling again. That means hanging. And if you're dangling in midair, that means you're just hanging in the air. Okay, let's turn page. All right, I think we can finish this chapter today. Good news. This is what Electron says. Good news, Heromice, Electron exclaimed. She was clutching a strange contraption in her paws. We might have found a way to expose the invisible thief. Let's meet back at Heromice headquarters, added Proton. So this contraption, this word contraption is, where do I have that word? Right here. Contraption is a little bit hard to explain. Contraption is like a tool or something that you can build, and it's going to do a job for you. And so this is what Electron and Proton have built. It looks like this. We don't know what it does yet, but it's going to do something to help them figure out who the invisible thief is. Maybe to turn the invisible thief visible. Remember those two words, invisible and visible, are opposite. Visible means you can see it. Invisible means it's not possible to see it. You can't see it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put my star here. Except that didn't work. Let me try again. Huh, I'm having trouble getting my star to work today. I might need to do this on my own. Huh.
You use the black one.
There we go. There's an expression in English that goes like this. If at first you don't succeed, try again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. And it means that you just keep trying until you get it to work. You don't give up. That's what it means. All right, I'm going to do my stop share so that now you can see me. And I'm going to say, so long.
Cheddar chip.
Bye, Archie.